of Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati.
February 1824. He was endowed with titanic personality. He was blessed with a creative mind, strong physique, and extraordinary intelligence and courage. He was he was a profound scholar of the Vedic and Sanskrit. He was a successful reformer of the Vedic tradition. The philosopher and the president of India, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, called him as one of the makers of modern India.
Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati was the first leader in the freedom theology who welcomed the advances of science and technology to lead a fruitful worldly life. Working for a noble cause is important, and he preached that salvation was possible only through social service. He died on October 30th, 1883, and his last words were, "O Lord, if such is thine, let it be done." Then his disciples, Arya Samajis, fulfilled his desire by starting the D.A.V movement after his death in 1883. The seed of educational movement shown by Swamiji has now grown into a large group of trees because of the untiring efforts and dedicated service of the D.A.V family in the form of about many educational institutes and service organizations imparting education of all types throughout India as well as abroad. Even many people got inspired by Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati. Sri Aurobindo says he was a soldier of light, a warrior in God's work, a sculptor of men and institutions, a bold and rugged victor of the difficulties which met our presence to spirit. And the whole summed itself up to me in a powerful impression of spiritual practicality. The combination of these two words, usually so divorced from each other in our conceptions, seems to me the very definition of Dayananda. This is what he himself was, a man with God in his soul, vision in his eyes, and power in his hands to hew out of life an image according to his vision. Even Rabindranath Tagore says, "I offer my homage of veneration to Swami Dayananda, the path maker in modern India. He had shown a path that was meant to lead the people to a simple life, serves for man with a clear-sighted vision of truth and courage of determination. He preached and worked for our self-respect and vigorous awakenment of mind that would strive for a harmonious adjustment with the progressive spirit of the modern age." Now, let us say a poem on Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Dayanand Saraswati, a man so bold, whose teachings never get old. Born in early 19th century, he was known for his wisdom and clarity. He fought against the caste system with passion. He preached everyone with good intention. He rejected blind faith and superstition. He promoted the concept of Vedic tradition. His Vedas are the foundation of his wisdom. His message of equality remains our freedom. His contribution to society was immense, and his teachings will forever remain intense.
Dayanand Saraswati's life was a beacon of light, and his messages continues to shine bright. We honor him for his bravery and insight for being a guiding force in our fight.
Yes, we will follow the teachings of Swami Dayanand Saraswati to become successful in our life. Thank you. Dhanyavadaha.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaste. Today we'll have a short discussion on the topic about understanding your own self and Prakriti. So, first we need to understand what our spiritual journey is. So, when we look into our spiritual journey, it comprises of three very important parts. First is to know about the Ishvara Prakriti. So, over the last few weeks, we had an extensive talk on knowing who Ishwar is. So today, let's focus on understanding who we are, knowing about your own self, and if time permits, we even look into the Prakriti part of it. So first, letting to know about your own self. If someone poses a question to you, who are you? So what will be your reply first? First, you will say, I am so and so. My name is so. So basically, you're associating the name to your body. You're telling that I am, so if my name is Vanshika, so I say, my body, I am Vanshika. So someone who doesn't know you will associate you with your facial features, with your stature, how short you are, how tall you are, how you look, what are your bodily features. So this is how we associate our body to it. But let us take a step back. Think about it. Are we really the body or is it something else? So that's what we're going to deal with it today. So first, let's understand the body. Our body is like a very complicated machine. So we have like 206 bones, we have umpteen number of muscles, then we have fine intricate blood vessel system, the nervous system. So we can compare a body to a complex machine, say a car for that matter. So for a body, for our everyday living, what do? We eat. So that's the food. Similarly, a car, what does it do to run on the road? It needs fuel. So food for a body is similar to the fuel for a car. So here we see some similarity between us and the car. Similarly, the food that we take in is digested and produces energy to do our daily activities. Similarly, so what does a car take in? It takes in petrol, diesel, and what does it do? It converts it into energy, and that's how we drive a car. Similarly, we do generate waste, is it? We do, right? Every day we generate so much of waste. Similarly, the car also generates waste. The smoke that comes out, the energy that's released. So here, these are the three similarities that we see here. So, can the car be repaired? The answer would be yes. We can repair each and every part of the car. It could be a very old car, but still each and every part, if we go to a mechanic, it can be repaired. Similarly, our body, if it needs repair, that is in simple words, when we fall sick, where do we go? We go to a doctor to get medication, to get relieved of our symptoms. But can this happen if something leaves the body? Like if the soul leaves the body, can this body be repaired? No, right? If you're dead, how much ever you try to do a heart transplant, you try to do a liver transplant, will your body come back? Will you become alive? No, right? So the key factor that is here, which differentiates us and the car, is the soul. So we need to understand in detail what the soul is. Next, we take an example of a train. We know, right, it's quite heavy, say around 1500 kgs, even more than that. But how does that train move? Does it move on its own? No, right? We need something, some pushing force for that train to move. Now, what is that pushing force in a train? It's nothing but the engine. So, is there something which is common in us also? Is something that is similar to an engine in the human body? It's nothing but a mind. So, the mind is the driving force that helps the soul takes the decision and move forward. So, we understand the soul is a very key entity in humans. It's nothing but a link between the body and the mind. Here, we need to understand that the body and mind are non-living things. What did we compare the body to? We compared the body to the body of a car or the body of a train. And what did we compare the mind to? We compared it to the engine of the train. So here we see both of the things are non-living. Similarly, the body and the mind is non-living. Then what's living? What's the living factor here? It's the soul. And the soul in itself is a very tiny entity, but it has a very powerful impact. So now, take this example of a child tasting or eating the ice cream. The question to you is that who enjoys the ice cream? Is it the body, is it the mind, or is it the soul? Yeah, you're right. But then let's understand how did the answer come. See, body. Body here is your tongue. So tongue, did we discuss that it's a living thing or a non-living thing? It's a non-living thing. Will any non-living thing be able to taste? No, right? Okay. We go to the mind. Mind was the driving force. So that also we told was a non-living thing. Will it be again able to taste? No, right? Now what did it tell about the soul? Soul is a living thing. So now the soul is what? Is going to enjoy the ice cream, not the body and the mind. In our everyday lives, when we had some very nice experience, what do we say? It was a soul satisfying experience. So indirectly, what are we telling? Who is enjoying? It's the soul that's enjoying. Let's take the example of this operation theatre. So the surgeon is there, he is operating on the knee, he is meticulously working. So we see that the soul is present at that point of time, body is there, the mind is there. But still, the patient is not able to feel the pain during the surgery. Why is it so? You may say it's because of anesthesia, right? But what happens because of that anesthesia? The link between the body, mind and the soul is disconnect. So when there is a connect between all the three, that's how the system works. So it's very important to have a linkage between your body, mind and soul. When it's temporarily suspended, then things are different. So we can form a triangle, I would say, with three corners. In each corner we can have the body, mind and the soul. And these three things are actually interconnected. This is why I put this as an example. So now you would ask me, the animals and humans both have body, mind and soul. So what is the differentiating factor between these two? So it's nothing but intellect. Intellect in Hindi we say it as buddhi. Buddhi is the differentiating factor between humans and animals. Animals have they have only instinct. It's only the natural knowledge that they have from birth. But we humans, we have very limited amount of instinct. And over this, we gain knowledge over the years and we develop on a knowledge and we gain intellect. So, for example, animals have only natural knowledge as I told you. So, the birds who make the nest, they have been making the nest since ages together, say 1,000 years ago. They make the same kind of nest. You won't find any difference in the nest which was made 1,000 years ago and what's made today. It's exactly the same because their natural knowledge is like a predetermined, set of instructions which they have got and that's how they work. They don't improvise on it. But if you see humans, we had thatched roof houses earlier. Now if you see the architecture, it has bloomed so much. You have umpteen number of houses with various architecture because we have developed on our knowledge. But animals cannot do so. But animals are even superior to us in certain instances. Like if there is an impending natural disaster that's going to happen, animals will sense it far earlier than we will and they will try to rescue themselves earlier itself. And we even see the dogs which are in the say the police space, the military space, they can even detect the explosive materials better than us. We need equipments to go and find it out, but they can sense it. So this is how they are superior to us in multiple ways. But then we humans have intellect, the buddhi, which develops based on learning and experience. The more you gain knowledge, the more you practice, the more you keep learning, your intellect becomes better. And when you develop this intellect, it will help you, it will facilitate you to make good decisions in your life. It will help you to move towards the dharmic path. It will help you to differentiate between what's right and what's wrong. It will help you to take umpteen number of decisions in your daily life. Now comes the question, what's wisdom? Wisdom is nothing but vivek. So what happens is that wisdom is a key part that helps your intellect. It will determine whether you will take the right path two children. They go to the same school, same kind of education. But then one person goes into the right path, takes a good field, the other one goes into the wrong field. Essentially, they have got the same set of education, same set of skills, but it is their wisdom, the way where they use it, whether they are using it for the right purpose or whether they are using it for the wrong purpose. In the Gayatri mantra, we say the last sentence, right? Bhargo devasya dhimahi, dhiyo yona prachodaya. So what are we praying in the Gayatri mantra? It says, Bhargo devasya dhimahi, bestow us with supreme intellect. What are we praying to God? We are praying for attaining, for getting us the supreme intellect. And dhiyo yona prachodaya, it means may you continuously guide our intellect onto the right direction. That is, we get the right way, we go onto the right path, we tread onto the right path. This reminds me of a very interesting shloka mantra from the Kathopanishad, which says, Atmanam rathanam vidhi, shariram rathamevatu, buddhim tum sarathim vidhi, mana pragramevacha, indrayani hayanakur, vishayan stechu gochara, atmendriya manoyuktam, bhoktetyarum manishinam. So what does it mean? Let's understand. Let's break it down into simple parts and try to understand. First, it says, Atma nam ratinam buddhi. Atma here refers to soul. Soul is the leader of the chariot. The chariot in which Arjun and Krishna was there, that chariot is referred here. He says that it's the leader. The soul is the leader of the chariot. He is the one who is going to take in control of it. Shariram rathamevatu. Rath means the chariot, the vehicle. So the sharir is the chariot. Then it says, Buddhim tum sarathim vidhi. That is buddhi. Here that's the intellect. Including your wisdom, that's the vivek, is the charioteer that helps take the right decisions. Mana pragramevacha is the reins, the rope that's tied to the horse, that reins. It's the one with which you control your senses. Then it says, Indrayani hayanakur. That is, the senses are like the horses. Here I would specify that senses we can divide it. That is the indriyas. We can divide it into two parts. That is the Gyanendriya and the Karmendriya. Gyan means knowledge. The knowledge-oriented indriyas or the senses are of 5 types. That is your sense organs basically. Your eyes, ears, skin, tongue, nose. And the next is your Karmendriya, with the ones which you do action, which you take actions. That is your 2 hands, 2 legs, and your speech, that is the tongue, and the 2 organs through which you dispose your everyday lives. So this is how it says about the senses, your Karmendriya and your Gyanendriya. And it says, then in our everyday life, there are too many vishayas. Vishaya means your aspects, material aspects, many other topics. That it could be the path in which we tread is actually strewn with so many aspects. It might be good, it might be wrong, but scholars are those who take the right decisions and lead a balanced life. So, in knowledge, wisdom and intellect, there are 4 stages too. Like how do we attain knowledge? There are 4 stages. The first stage is Gyan, second is Manan, third is Nididhyasan, and 4th is Sakshat. Let's understand what these 4 stages of knowledge are. First is Gyan. Gyan means like how do we attain knowledge? That is either by reading textbooks, reading books and hearing. You listen to discourses. This is how you gain knowledge, either through reading or through hearing. The next stage is Manan. Once you have read, you have heard, you need to revise it. You need to think. You need to raise doubts. You need to clarify those doubts. This is essentially what a student does. You first read it, then you revise it before the exams, you get doubts, you try to clarify it, you think over it. The next is Nididhyasan. Once you have read it, you revised it, you have clarified doubts, you finally come to a conclusion. It's a final thought. Okay, this is it. This is what it is. And the last stage is Sakshatkar. Once you have concluded, just conclusion is not enough. You need to implement it in your everyday lives. So these are the 4 stages of knowledge. First is Dhyan, the next is Manan, next is Nididhyasan, And the last is Sakshatkar. So we have already seen about the Ishwar. Now we have to an extent understood what our self is. We have understood what the body is, what the mind is, and what the soul is. We have understood the interconnections. Now let's move to the material world around us. We say it as Prakriti. Prakriti in Hindi, we usually associate it with nature. But here, in the spiritual aspect, we will try to look at it into a differently. So, these are the various objects around you. Just for an example, just take it. You have your fridge, you have your TVs, you have your jewelry, you have your watches. Mentally try to crush it. When you crush everything, you will divide it into finer parts, finer parts. Finally, what comes is the ash. Now, you finally divide even the ash. What are you going to be left with it at the end point? You will be only left with your electrons, protons, and neutrons. The three basic elements that we've all studied in science, right? So, and even with the law of conservation of matter, which we have studied, matter can neither be created nor destroyed, right? It only changes from one form to another, like the ice. It's first solid, then it will melt into liquid, and even if you freeze it again, it will become solid. So it's matter basically which gets converted to one form to another. So as I told you, when you crush everything down, it boils down to electrons, protons, and neutrons. We can take an analogy of it and fit it into like Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Though I'm not saying that electrons, protons, and neutrons are exactly Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Just for an understanding perspective, these are the triple gunas or the modes of existence. These three gunas which are there, that is the Sattva, Rajas, and the Tamas, together, these three are the basic core elements which together form the five, that is the Pancha Mahabhutas, that we say as the earth, space, air, water, air. So these are the five gunas, these are the five Pancha Mahabhutas which is made out of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Now look at this picture. What can you infer from this person? From this picture, what kind of person he would be? He would be a very jovial person, a very happy looking person. That's what this image says, right? Now this person, he looks a bit stubborn, a bit angry kind of, right? And now look at this picture. He is a kind of a mix, right? He's like both like he's happy also, but then there's a sense of, what to say, like the negative aspect also. So basically the three natures that we have seen, the happy one, the stern one, and the mixed one. How does this come? It's because of the gunas, that is the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So we can say this person may have, and we all have a combination of these three. Actually, this person also will have Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, but maybe the Sattva is more. He is more positive kind of. Even in us, at different situation, one of the gunas may increase. Sometimes when we are angry, our Tamas one increases. So in our day-to-day life, we need to have a balance between the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So from this whole discussion, what have we understood? That there are only three things that are Nitya. We divide in two buckets, Nitya, Anitya. Nitya means permanent and Anitya means temporary. So there's only three things that is Nitya, that's permanent. That is your Ishwar, your soul, and your Prakriti. These things they have not been created. They were since inception. They are not going to be destroyed. They will be present today. And whatever else, leave alone the Ishwar, soul, and Prakriti. What's Anitya? What's temporary? Is everything else, because they were created. If something has been created, it can be destroyed as well. But if something has not been created, it has been since time immemorial, since inception. Someone was not created, will be there forever. And we have understood about Ishwar. Ishwar is actually Chetan. Chetan means it has a conscience. It was never born and will never die. And about the soul, that is the Atma, it is also Chetan. It has conscience. It was also never born and will never die. But the third part is Prakriti. That's the matter around us. It is Jad. That means it has no conscience. It is never created and will never be destroyed. These things are actually Nitya, the soul, matter, and God. I hope you would have understood some basic concepts about knowing yourself and about Prakriti with with this, I come to an end of my talk. Thank you.